Hi, welcome to learnhowtogarden.com. In today's episode on the 10-Minute Gardener, we're going to be planting the most popular soft fruit you can grow, and that's strawberries. If you're not already subscribed to us at Learn How to Garden, there's a link directly below this film. Click on that, input your email address, and it means every single time we put up a new film, we let you know. It also means you get access to our free monthly newsletter, the films that only appear on the website, and it also lets you know what courses or lectures we're doing this year. The reason I haven't done a film on growing strawberries before is quite simple. I don't grow them, or I stopped growing them about 4 years ago, and that's because they are available 365 days a year. They're available in the supermarkets, and I just got to the point of I'd had too many. But what I've noticed, like a lot of supermarket things, is that the taste is missing. So I've decided that I'm going to grow my own strawberries again, and like everything at Learn How to Garden, it's purely about the taste. And the two varieties that I've chosen to grow were my two favourites from before. One's called Honey, although it's actually spelt wrong, which is quite interesting for a dyslexic. I could even notice that. Now that's a very early summer variety. And the other one is Happel, which is a midsummer variety, but has absolutely exceptional taste. And they're quite easy to grow. You can grow them in grow bags, you can grow them in pots, but I've always liked to grow mine in the ground, in a bed. The bed we're going to grow them in was prepared at the beginning of last year, and it had sunflowers growing in it. And then once the sunflowers, they were left over the winter to feed the birds, then we've incorporated a lot more very well rotted compost. And what you then need to do is take some fish blood and bone, and you actually apply this very lightly about 2 weeks before, and you rake that in. And the reason you do it 2 weeks before is so that some of those nutrients are in liquid suspension and are available to the strawberries as soon as they go in. Make sure the bed's weed free. What I've actually then done is taken these strawberry plants, and I've chosen to buy mine as small plants in pots, and I've had them sitting in this water for about 10 minutes to make sure that they're really well watered, so that when they go in the ground they actually already have enough moisture around them that the roots can start to come out. If you put them in dry or too dry and water on top, sometimes you don't get them watered in enough. And we basically want them about 35 centimetres apart, and the rows about 75 centimetres between rows. This planting trowel is 30 centimetres, so quite easy for me to see. Make a decent sized hole. Take some mycorrhizal fungi. Now, if you don't know what mycorrhizal fungi does, there is a film on it, and I'll put the link below this, but it actually makes the plants grow stronger, grow better, and gives them a much larger root system. You pop the plant out, settle it so that the crown is just at soil level, and firm it in. And we're going to put them 35 centimetres apart, 70 centimetres between rows. I'll plant them all, and then I'll come back and show you what we do once they're in the ground. Once they're all planted, you need to give them a really good watering in. And this actually brings me to one of the little problems with strawberries. The fruit grow very close to the ground, and if we were to just leave the strawberries growing like this, what would happen is that when it rains or when we water, the fruit can get splashed with dirt, and that dirt can get ingrained in the fruit and they're not very nice. But also, if they're on the ground, they become absolute manna from heaven for slugs and snails. So we need to do something to keep those strawberries off the growing bed. And there are two things you can do. You can take some of this, which is weed suppressant fabric, and you can lie this across the bed. You can make crosses in it, and you can actually plant the strawberries through that, so that the actual strawberries just lie on this weed suppressant fabric, and that's what happens commercially. But if you were going to do that, you'd put the fabric down first, and obviously as I haven't put the fabric down first, that's not the method I choose to use. I'm a bit more old-fashioned really. What I like to do is to take some straw, and you just put the straw around the crown of the strawberry. Please excuse my local air sea rescue going overhead. One hopes whenever you hear this that it's just a training exercise. And I use straw because, one, I like the way it looks in the bed much better, and two, when we've finished cropping the strawberries, I can take this straw off and I can add it to my compost heap. I'll now feed these with comfrey feed, liquid potash, about once every 14 days, but with a very, very weak feed. And I won't overfeed and I won't overwater once we've started. Overwatering and overfeeding are two of the ways that you actually dilute the flavour. You want to grow them quite hard. You want to make them grow quite slowly so you intensify the flavour, which is why we're growing these. So we've got the straw, well, around half the strawberries really. I'll have to finish this bit in a moment. I've got to fetch some more straw. We then give them another really good watering in, and what you'll find in the summer is that as they fruit, pick the fruit as soon as you can so that it doesn't get taken by birds. And one of the things you're going to have to do is net it, and the easiest way is to use one of these small hooped cloches just to cover the actual strawberries. If you don't, you won't get any. The birds will take all of them. The other thing that will happen is in the summer, long thin stalks will grow from the plants and they'll appear to have tiny little strawberry plants on the end of them. And what you do with those is you pin those down into the ground, and they're called runners, and they will actually root, and they'll root throughout the summer. Come the autumn, you cut them off, you actually dig them out with their root and you transplant them into the bed, and that's how you increase your strawberry plants. And after about 3 years, the original parent plants will have exhausted themselves and they're best dug up and composted and replaced with some of the runners. One of the reasons you should always start with what's referred to as ministry certified stock rather than being given plants off a friend is that strawberries are very prone to virus diseases. Ministry stock will actually come free from any viruses, so that you will actually keep viruses out of your strawberry bed, which means you get much healthier and larger crops of strawberries. They're quite easy to grow them quite hard, don't overfeed, don't overwater, and you will get strawberries that taste like none you've ever bought from a supermarket. They're easy to grow, they're wonderfully rewarding. I'm not actually quite sure now, I'm looking at these, why I actually did start growing them, because I really do love homegrown strawberries. Thanks a lot for watching Learn How to Garden.